It's Miss Unique Beauty in the building, and I'm back with another video. If you're new to my channel, tap that subscribe button so that you won't miss out on any of my new uploads. And if you have already subscribed, what's good, what's poppin', welcome back to my channel. The items that we're going to need today is a mesh weaving cap, a pair of scissors, a few T-pins to hold down your lace closure and your wig cap onto your mannequin head, a few strings of needle and thread, and of course the hair of your choice. Now the hair that I'm using today is loose wave textured hair from my website MissUniqueBeautii.Mayvenn.com. I did go ahead and custom color this hair for a client as well. She wanted a majority of the hair to be like a dark brown color, and then she wanted the ends to be highlighted blonde and with a few little blonde streaks in the front of the closure as well. So this is what the color is looking like. This is what the texture of this hair is looking like. Now let's get into this wig. The first thing that I'm going to do is position this mesh cap exactly where I want it on the mannequin head. Now the mannequin head that I am using is a size 22-inch mannequin head, and I love using this mannequin head when I am making wigs for my client because the wigs will not come out too small and they will also not come out too big. The next thing that I'm going to do is position this lace closure exactly to the center part of this mesh cap. And I like to use T-pins to help secure this down because it will allow your closure to not move while you're trying to position it perfectly onto the cap. I recommend using as many T-pins that you would need to make sure that this closure is laying completely flat onto this mesh cap. You do not want any lifting while you are putting the T-pins in. You want to make sure it's laying literally very flush onto the mesh cap for the best results. Now I just went ahead and clipped the hair out of the way just so that we don't have any hair distracting us while we're trying to sew the closure onto the mesh cap. And right here I'm showing you guys that I pulled the closure very taut so that there is no gaps underneath the lace. Now I'm going to take my needle and thread and begin sewing one side of the lace closure down at a time. You want to make sure that you are sewing one side at a time just to make sure that the closure will be evenly sewn on both sides. And when you are sewing your closure down onto your mesh cap, you want to make sure that your stitches are being sewn close together. You do not want your stitches to be too wide apart for the closure because you want to make sure that the closure will not move and it will be tacked down as good as possible. I do want to mention that the specs of this wig will be one 14-inch lace closure with two 18-inch Brazilian loose wave bundles from my website MissUniqueBeautii.Mayvenn.com. Now I'm going to begin sewing down the next side of this closure onto this mesh weaving cap, and then I'll be right back and we will continue with sewing the bundles onto the mesh cap. I like to begin sewing my first track right before the air tab on the mesh cap. And for this wig, because I'm only using two bundles and I want to make sure that I will have enough hair to complete this wig, I will be singling the tracks all the way up and through this entire wig. Now, if by the end of the wig I do have hair left over, I will go ahead and fill in the spaces that I did leave with the extra hair that I had left over. Now this cap does have adjustable straps in the back, so when you are sewing your first track, you do not want to sew below the adjustable straps. You want to keep your tracks above the adjustable straps because you want your client to be able to use those straps. So do not sew underneath the straps, sew above the straps like you guys are seeing right here in the video. Now, because I chose to single the tracks, I am going to keep my stitching closer together than I normally would. And the reason why you want to do this is because when you single the track and you start to sew underneath the weft, you can sometimes get loose tracks that way. So you want to make sure that your stitches are closer together whenever you are singling a track. Now, as you guys can see here, I do not cut my tracks when I get ready to begin a new row. All I'm going to do is flip the track over and secure the end of the track so that you guys will not see any bumps or lumps on the ends of each row. Now, once you secure the end of your track as flat as possible, then you can just continue with sewing on the rest of this row. Now for this row, I did go ahead and sew it 3 finger widths apart from the first row, and like I said before, if I do have hair left over in the end, I will go back and fill in the back section of this wig with the extra hair that I had left over. I'm going to fast forward ahead through this sewing process because the sewing process is really self-explanatory. You just want to continue sewing back and forth, making sure that you're securing the ends of each row as secure as possible so that there will not be any loose tracks. Right here, I'm just showing you guys that this row is 3 finger widths apart. Now I'm going to continue sewing up the rest of this bundle, and I'll be back to show you guys exactly what the wig is looking like with only one bundle sewn onto this wig cap. This is what the wig is looking like once I went ahead and sewn one complete bundle onto this mesh cap. Now right here, I'm showing you guys the spacing that I did, and for the first 2 spacings I did 3 finger widths apart, then 2 finger widths apart, and as I got closer to the top I only did 1 finger width apart. As you guys can see, the first bundle made it pretty far up this wig cap. Now I have more than enough hair to go ahead and fill in this back section of this wig, and that's exactly what I am going to do. Now I'll be back to show you guys exactly what the wig will look like after I sewn in both of these bundles onto this wig cap. This is what the wig is looking like once I went ahead and sewn on both bundles onto this mesh cap, and as you guys can see, the spacing looks perfect. I would say that each track is about 1 to 2 finger widths apart from each other, going all the way up to the top of this cap. The next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is flip the wig inside out and cut away this middle section underneath the lace closure. You guys want to be very careful when cutting this piece out of the lace wig because you do not want to snip any of those threads that you used when sewing down the lace closure onto the cap. If you do accidentally snip a string around the lace closure, you do want to go ahead and re-sew the entire lace closure back onto the edge of that wig cap again, because you do not want to risk having your client wearing this wig over and over and over again and they come back to complain that the closure was not securely sewn onto the cap. So you want to make sure that you do go ahead and re-sew around the entire lace closure. Now it's time to pluck the lace closure and style this wig. This is what the closure is looking like once I went ahead and did a little bit of plucking in the front. If you guys are interested in seeing exactly how I went ahead and plucked the front section of this lace closure, let me know in the comment section down below so that I could go ahead and create a separate video on exactly how this is done. This is what the completed wig is looking like once I went ahead and laid and slayed those baby hairs. I defined the middle part and I went ahead and added some curls because this is exactly what my client wanted. In this video, I was able to show you guys exactly how to make a lace closure wig using only 2 bundles of hair and a lace closure from my website, MissUniqueBeautii.Mayvenn.com. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below any questions that you may have, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye, my beauties!